Hello and welcome to the first web edition of WEP announcements. So I just wanted to start off with talking a little bit about the relationship we're developing between the University of Nebraska and the University of Bamako in Mali. A big part of what we're trying to do with WEP is facilitate the knowledge transfer between developed and developing world because ultimately what we're trying to do is set up the areas we're working in for success in energy engineering. And so that would include being able to install and operate their own energy systems without relying on an outside developed world to come in and do it for them. And so kind of the model that we're working with is we'll install an energy system in an area and then hire and train, if necessary, a local technician or engineer to run that system and also operate it and run and operate, same thing. Anyways, to operate the system and then also expand it in the surrounding areas. So it kind of has a ripple effect. However, we run into the issue that in Mali, for instance, if we were to hire an engineer right now, we really couldn't find one. They don't have energy engineers. They don't really have that program. And so we're trying to kind of facilitate energy engineering as a program, class, something like that, between University of Nebraska and Bamako. And that's a big part of what I'll be doing when I go there in February, setting up that relationship. And then also we'll continue doing that when we go back in June. So kind of some of the theory behind this transfer of knowledge from the report Inventing a Better Future from my very favorite Inter Academy Council, who also put together the Lighting the Way report. I just wanted to read a quick excerpt from that. They say, the countless manifestations of science pervade our world, and they profoundly affect the social, economic, and cultural outlooks of societies and individuals alike. Moreover, the accumulation of the scientific knowledge and its technological applications is accelerating at a dizzying clip, enabled by large part by ever more powerful computers and lightning-fast communications. And so it goes on to say that these innovations have altered and expanded our notions of economic and social development, and they often do so not with high-tech dazzle, but in mundane yet profound ways. We've come to realize that better healthcare, nutrition, and labor-saving devices make it possible for more young people to attend school and to complete more years of schooling. The net result has been a major increase in the number of able and educated individuals entering the workforce. And it just goes on to talk about how that's not the case in the developing world, and the developing world is being left behind at, and you could say, an exponentially greater pace due to the nature of technology. And it goes on to talk about the issues facing the developing world, poverty, destitution, hunger, HIV/AIDS, etc. And then it says there's been kind of an international consensus on dealing with issues like this, UN development, millennium goals, etc. And then it says, despite the growing consensus on all these issues, despite agreement on the inevitability of movement toward a knowledge-based future, the international community has overlooked something critical. It has given inadequate attention to capacity building in science and technology as the engine that drives knowledge-based development, and that is essential to social and economical inclusion, and that alleviates the demographic, urbanization, public health, and environmental pressures plaguing the world, especially the developing world. So, yeah. Sorry, brief roommate interruption. Anyways, so as I was saying, we'll be setting up that relationship in Mali, and then continue probably in Uganda and Kenya and the other areas we're working. For those of you who are more detail-oriented, my engineers, kind of what that will look like, hopefully, or quite possibly, is that we'll bring Malian faculty over here to study on a Fulbright for a year under our energy engineering department somewhere. I'm not quite sure where. I'm working on that with some faculty here. And then probably bring over some Malian students at some point to do energy engineering research under our faculty for like a summer or maybe a semester or something like that. And then I'm not quite sure what that'll look like on the Mali side, so I will know more in about a month. Yeah, so that's really exciting, and I am thrilled to see where that's going to go. This report's awesome. I haven't finished reading it, but for those of you who want it, it's from the same guys that did Lighting the Way, so it's on there. Let's. Okay, so speaking of our in-country partnerships, there's some exciting news about Uganda. So this past summer I worked at Boys Town, and one of my co-workers is from Uganda, and we just got to know each other, and I was recently sharing with him about the World Energy Project, and he got really excited and wanted to connect me with some of his friends that are actually electrical engineers in Uganda. And so I sent them an email, and I got an email back that said that not only were they excited about it, but they had actually shared the project with the Minister of Energy and the Minister of Health in Uganda, and those people are both very excited. And so they wanted to continue the relationship and move forward as quickly as possible, and really partner with us. And that's really exciting to just kind of be dropped into that government relationship. So, yay! So that kind of takes care of those types of announcements. Now I wanted to move on to our team structure and make sure that we're all on the same page. So over break, we kind of reorganized a little bit. Obviously, we changed our meeting time and location. And then along with that, we kind of changed the structure of our meetings. So obviously now I'm doing announcements this way instead of wasting all of our time at the meeting, and then at the meeting we can just kind of get right to work on all the stuff we have going on. So just so everybody's on the same page, we've got Power Committee, which is our engineers and project leaders, and so basically for each project that we possibly accept has to meet 2 criteria, and that is that number one, the government is willing to at least work with us and be amenable to anything like equipment that we need to ship in or getting things approved, etc. And then number 2, that there's already an on-the-ground NGO that we can work with that has experience dealing with cultural issues and getting around the country, just kind of logistical things like that. So for each project, before we say 100% yes, we'll do this, we're putting together a project proposal. And so we have our team leader for Nicaragua is Casey, and he's putting together that proposal for the School for Deaf Children. Our team leader for Uganda is Michael, and he's continuing to figure out that relationship with the government and what exactly we can help out with there. The team leader for our school in Kenya is Eric. And then I'm continuing Mali operations, June, and then future operations. And then Chris Hansen is putting together an overview of energy systems, especially in the developing world, so we can kind of get our heads around if we want to work, say, in Zambia, do we want solar, hydro, what's worked there in the past, what kind of regulations exist in that country, kind of things like that, so that we can move more efficiently in the future as we look at potential projects. So we all kind of work together, but we're each in charge of our own separate report. And then we have Kyle and Emily are putting together an economical report on the cost of purchasing each of our renewable energy systems, so solar panels, the different types, hydro, power, etc. And then probably also figuring out how much it would cost to ship each of those systems into the project area, so that'll work with a project proposal and figuring out a timeline and kind of a fundraising goal for that project. So yeah, that's a lot to handle. And then we've got Chris Lander, Chris Johnson, and Grant all kind of working together on website and marketing material. So website design and copy, and Chris Johnson's doing the coding. And then other random material like the board that we had for the conference and things like that. So that's what all of us is going to be doing actually at our team meetings, is working on our individual roles, which is great. We're moving forward really quickly. What else? kind of some more detailed things. So we have a big January coming up. Obviously, we've got the January 26th fundraiser that I really want to hammer on because we really need to get 20 to 30 engineering and architecture students there. So the take 500. Sorry. Okay, so January 26th, we've got the Building Through Building fundraiser. Real quick, 21 and over, $10 at the door raffle. Just come and go. It's from 4 to 7. It's really, really important that we get 20 to 30 engineering and architecture from the Omaha area to attend. So Chris Johnson and Chris Hansen and I and Grant are all kind of bugging the crap out of professors and students and trying to get the word out there. So also all of you, if you could invite people either like on Facebook or word of mouth that are in Omaha. They don't have to be engineering or architecture students. Those are just kind of what we're gearing the event towards. Yep, so that's big. Also, we've got some presentation material to get ready for that as well. Just a quick 5-minute thing and then a little booth area where we have more information about who we are and what we're doing. And then January 27th, we've got 2 Rotary presentations. So the first one is in Columbus at 7 a.m. And we're going to keep that one a smaller group, just our 2 Columbus natives, Kyle and Casey, and then Grant and I. And then later that day at noon, we have another Rotary presentation in Omaha. And that one is open for anyone who wants to come. You guys are already coming to Omaha on the 26th, so if you don't want to come back on the 27th, that's fine. The 4 of us, Columbus Rotary presenters, will be at the Omaha one, and anyone else is welcome to join as well. So Chris Landers and Casey are working really hard on putting a prezi together for that, and it's going to be awesome. So yeah, that's January. And then obviously I leave for Africa for Mali February 11th, and I'll be gone through the 18th. As I said before, just doing some relationship building and setting things up. And then as soon as I get back from Africa, we have the Walter Scott event scheduled. No specific date yet, but that general time where it'll probably just be a dinner, appetizers, or something like that. Semi-informal, where we just kind of share about our passion and what we're doing with Walter Scott and a few of his friends. So that's exciting. And what else? Oh yeah, so over break, I met Grant and I and my dad, who's an attorney, met with our CPA to continue working on our incorporation application. And so I think we got all of those issues, wording issues and whatever, ironed out, and we have applied for our incorporation status, and that should be back in the next few weeks. And then as soon as that's back, we can start getting all our paperwork together to apply for our nonprofit 501c3 status. And our CPA is going to continue working with us through that.